Good evening, good afternoon, or good morning, depending on where you might be in the world. Hey, we want to welcome you back for yet another Power Life Business Empowerment pre-conference webinar. And tonight, you all are in for such a treat because we first and foremost took you through the mindset mastery of being an entrepreneur. We then exposed you to how to be a best-selling author and the benefits thereof. Last week, we dropped the concept of branding and marketing and offered you some distinction between the two. This week, I tell you, we are going to take this thing to the next level, and who better to do that with than the Next Level Living Show host himself, the unstoppable one, the man with the plan, the accountability personality personified. Mr. Diplomat is what we call him as a founding member of the Men of Vision. And so without further ado, I'm not going to babble too long because we want to be before you're strong. So tonight, I want you to do a couple of things for me. First and foremost, I want you to go ahead, click the button up top, pay this thing forward, because see, what we come to understand here at the Men of Vision is that acceleration through collaboration is amazing when you have the right people in your camp. So go ahead, hit the Facebook button, the Twitter button, the LinkedIn, the Google Plus, whatever your particular, and you know what, if you really want to get jiggy with it, hit a couple of them, because we need to make sure that you pay this thing forward and are sure that the message of how to go about selecting a coach or a mentor, because we all need them, no matter how great we think we are. I mean, think about it. Michael Jordan, Stephon Curry, LeBron James, some of the baddest players on the planet, they all have coaches. So why don't you? I think you do. And tonight we're going to make sure that you realize and understand the purpose for having a coach, how to go about selecting one, and be able to understand the dynamic that should exist. So without further ado, I want to bring to you guys the unstoppable coach, the founding member of the Men of Vision, my brother from another mother, Brother Coach Terrence Lethbridge. Mic check, mic check.
Hey, it's an unstoppable day, family. How you doing out there? Thank you, Dr. Womack, for that great introduction. I'm just pleased to be here among the masses, among the great men of vision on this business empowerment webinar series. Thank you so much for letting me share part of the stage with you. So we want to remind you again that this business empowerment webinar series is just a prelude to what we're going to be giving you on April 30th, 2016, down in Hotlanta, Atlanta, Georgia, at the Cobb Galleria. We want you, and we're going to invite you again, as we do each Monday during these broadcasts, to come and share with us the experience that is the Power Life Atlanta Business Empowerment Conference. We're going to give you some more details on how you can sign up and register to be in the place, in person, with the Men of Vision as we go through this broadcast. But as Dr. Womack has been saying to you, we have each week been strategically giving you just a sliver, just a little bit of what we're going to be talking about during that great day on April 30th down in Atlanta at the conference. First of all, we talked to you about your mindset, mastering your mindset. And then we talked to you about branding and marketing and how you needed to know the difference and how each one of them interplays with what you're doing as an entrepreneur to take your business to the next level. But I wonder if you actually realized that throughout those 2 weeks of great information that we were giving you, I wonder if you understood that you were actually being coached during those sessions. Yes, that's exactly what we were doing. We were giving you coaching, giving you information, giving you tools, and giving you strategies that you need to get to the next level of your greatness in branding, in marketing, and in mindset mastery. And that's what we want to talk more specifically about tonight, is just as an entrepreneur, how can coaching help you? So as we start the slide presentation, I want to remind you again to go up above your head and share this broadcast with your circles of influence. You can go ahead and share it on the Facebook platform. You can share it on the Twitter platform. You can share it on the Google Plus, and you can share it on the LinkedIn platform. All those platforms, you want to share that with your circle of influence so that they recognize that you are part of this wonderful broadcast that is happening right now. So let's just go back and talk about, as an entrepreneur, how can coaching help me? So let me tell you a story that just resonated with me last night. See, I was watching TV on the rare amount of times that I do get to watch TV as an entrepreneur, because as an accountability coach, as a speaker, as an author, and as the host of my own internet broadcast, there ain't much time left in the day to do anything else, especially watch TV. But I got a couple of seconds to watch about 5 minutes of this show called The Voice. And The Voice is, for those who don't know, it's this TV show where singers get to audition in front of four established singers. And those coaches get to decide whether or not they have what it takes to become a star. And so Juan, that's his name, not his real name, but we'll use it for the point of this story. Juan came out and he started singing, and he was doing a great job, but nobody was turning their chair around to give him any props. And then halfway through his song, one of the judges turned around and she said that he had something that should allow him to go to the next level, go to the next stage of the competition. And that's when he explained to her and the rest of the audience that he had auditioned for The Voice last year and didn't even make it to the stage. And 3 out of the other 4 coaches that was there were there last year, but they didn't remember him. And so the coach who decided that she was going to give him a chance this time said, well, Juan, what's different about you last year when you came out here and auditioned, and this year that got you noticed? And Juan simply said, well, you know what? I decided that I was going to master my craft over this last year. And I also decided that I needed a coach, because there was things that in my voice wasn't right. There was things in my inflection that wasn't right. There was things in the way I came across on stage that wasn't right. And I needed to get with a coach. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is the personification of what we're going to be talking about tonight as far as coaching. It's because he decided to master his mindset and his craft, and he decided to invest in a coach that he went from being not even noticed last year to having a coach turn around and acknowledge him this year. So use that as a basis for as we go forward into this conversation talking about coaching and how can a coach help you. Well, you know what? We all want to know who this presentation is for. Well, this presentation is for those individuals who are just getting started with their product, with their service, or with their business. It's also for those individuals that are stuck in getting their message out about that business, about that product, or about that service. And yes, lastly but not least, it's about those individuals that want to stop leaving money on the table and increase their brand awareness, their leads, and ultimately their sales, because anybody will attest that you don't go into business not to make any money. I know for a fact nobody in the Men of Vision has gone into their individual businesses to not make any money. We're all about our service. We're all about our integrity. But ultimately, at the end of the day, we want that service and that integrity to result in sales and of our products and our services. So everyone loves a definition. So let's start with one when we talk about coaching. What exactly is coaching? Well, coaching is a journey that you and your coach will take together that will empower you to create your goals and desires, to implement those goals, and then more importantly, be accountable for achieving those goals. See, it's a relationship. It's a partnership. It's not just you trying to create and implement and being accountable. It's you and somebody else working alongside with you to make uh, those goals, those desires, not only turn into action, but turn into results. And what type of coaching is available to entrepreneurs? Well, just within the Men of Vision, there's 5 different type of coaches. You've got the accountability coach, which is what I do with Unstoppable Coaching Services. You've got the self-publishing coach, which is what our brother Johnny Magnificent Mac does with the SPAN program. You've got the leadership strategist in Dr. Ed Womack. You've got the branding specialist in John McClung Jr. and his I Am a Testimony apparel. And then you've got the power coach, the one who teaches you how to find that power on the inside and bring it out in our coach, Edward C. Williams. So those are just 5 different types of coaching, but there are many other types of coaching out there, from business coaching to life coaching to financial coaches, all different types of coaches, all set with the same premise to help you reach whatever goals you are in whatever arena that is. Just like in the example with Juan, he got a singing coach because he wanted to become a better singer. You as an entrepreneur, whatever it is that you want to be better at, whether it's better at products, whether it's better at marketing, whether it's better at lead generation, there are coaches out there that are ready and willing to help you to get to that part. So how do we go about doing it? Well, we talk about creating those goals and those desires. In the greatest book ever written, it says, write the vision and make it plain. And it's just as simple as that. In order for you to create your goals and your desires, you first have to write it down. You first have to get it out of your head and get it out in the universe where you can start putting that thing together. But many times we get stuck as entrepreneurs in really creating those goals, really understanding what our desires are and what those goals are to make them happen. And that's where a coach comes into play, because a coach is going to help you create the SMART goals, the goals that are necessary to help you get from point A to point B, to help you get from where you are to where you want to be. And they go about doing that by giving you goals and helping you start those goals that are specific, that are measurable, goals that are attainable and relevant, goals that will not allow you to get stuck, and then those time-oriented goals so that you don't stop losing that money or losing that opportunity to create that money. Now, in my coaching practice, I've run across people in different stages of the goal setting. I've run across the people that they have a goal in mind, but it's neither specific nor is there anything placed in those goals that can measure their success. Oh, I want to write a book. Well, what do you want to write a book about? Oh, well, I just want to tell my story. Well, do you know what your story is? Well, my story was this, my story was that, and they have no rhyme, no reason to what their goal is, but all they know is that they want to do that. A coach will dig down deep and help you figure out, as an entrepreneur, whatever it is in your business that you're really trying to obtain, whatever goal that you're really trying to go for, and then they'll help you point by point get specific with some time-oriented goals, some time-oriented markets, some time-oriented targets that you want to achieve so that you can get that opportunity that you're looking for and you can make that money that you want to make. So after you create those goals, then that coach will help you implement those goals. And that's where we've been talking about in the first 2 weeks. Those things that you might have to implement is that you might have to implement some mindset strategies. Dr. Womack talked in his presentation of the very first week about affirmations and really spending time with yourself and really thinking about what it is that you want to have and setting your mind to making those things happen. And then Johnny Mack talked about last week, as in implementing those goals to create your book. He talked about going from the creation to the content to the concept to the collaboration to the final project. All key steps that you have to put in place step by step to make that goal a reality. Many times we get stuck as entrepreneurs because we're trying to do everything. We get stuck doing nothing because we tried to do everything when all we needed to do was do something. And that's where the coach is going to help you in your implementation stage. He's going to map out with you where it is you're trying to go and then talk about that one thing that you can do today, or that one thing that you can do next week. And then that thing that you can layer on top of the thing that you already did, so that you find out sooner or later that you have done everything that you needed to be doing. But when you learn to focus on one step at a time, then you find that you're getting more work done in a shorter period of time than if you just try to continue to do everything all at once. We call it working smarter instead of working harder. But the other reason that people do not implement these goals is because they get stopped by thinking that they have to do it all by themselves. It's that self-made millionaire myth that's been out there for decades. And you really see it in some of the male entrepreneurs or the up-and-coming entrepreneurs, because they think that if they didn't do it by themselves, or if they didn't do it on their own, then they'll be considered weak by their peers. You've got to have this bravado that says you pulled yourself up by your own bootstraps. You know, you've got these icons out there like Oprah, that women think that she did it all by herself as well, because they've only seen the finished product. When in reality, most successful people work hard, but all of us hit plateaus and we have blind spots and we need help. To be honest, many of us have spent our entire lives under potential in areas that we haven't even explored or pursued yet. It's that coach that can take that mirror and put it to your face and let you see things that you may not be able to see yourself, because it's hard to see the picture when you're inside the frame. But a coach helping you along, helping you see those areas of potential that haven't been explored or pursued, helping you realize that you don't have to do all these things by yourself. These are the things that are going to help you go from being stuck to getting to the next level of where it is you want to be as an entrepreneur. So we have talked about how a coach can help you create your goals. We've also talked about how a coach can help you implement those goals. But we also want to continue to invite you to come to the conference, because we're only going to be giving you a snippet tonight and over the next couple of weeks of what you're going to get in the full day conference at the Power Life conference that's coming up on April 30th. And again, we're going to give you more information about that at the end. But right now, I want to bring Dr. Womack back in, if you can, and then have Dr. Womack talk a little bit about his experiences with coaches that he's worked with under the ideals of helping him create his goals and helping him implement his goals. Dr. Womack, can you share a little bit of your experience?
Oh man, you know that would be an absolute honor, because it's first and foremost you bringing it so hard and so heavy. And we told him we were going to be before him strong. And one of my coaches, I have multiple, And what I realized was that as I was beginning to evaluate the state in which my entrepreneur journey was in, I started to evaluate the other people that I saw that were actually doing it. I began to reach outside of my comfort zone and realize, you know what? As I was studying, I read this paragraph or read this quote that said, if you want to go fast, go by yourself. However, if you want to go far, you're going to need a team. And when I look at the greats, because I'm a big basketball fan, and so Coach T, he's into the arts. He used the singing thing, but I'm really into the athletic aspect of things. And so when I think about the Michael Jordans, the LeBron James, the Stephon Currys, I even think back to 1985 where the St. Martin de Porres Eagles went undefeated, where we had two NBA players to go on to the elite, or two players to go on to the NBA. And the common thread amongst all of them was that they all had an absolutely amazing coach in their life. And for a period, as I was beginning to get my feet underneath me as an entrepreneur, I went at it on my own. Totally have to be transparent. But thank God those images, those reservations or revisitations to the results that happen when working with a coach. And oh yeah, by the way, I was a part of that St. Martin de Porres team that went undefeated 27-0. I'm sorry, I forgot to throw that little piece in there. I mean, I'm no LeBron or no Stephon Curry or Michael Jordan by any stretch. But to go 27, okay, let me get back on track. But the key was we had an amazing coach. Coach Eddie Rachel was very much interested in winning, but he was more interested in helping to pull out of us the best men that he could create. And truth be told, he inspires the very things that I do to this day. God rest his soul. He's no longer with us. But now I'm able to really extend myself to people like Coach T, to Coach Johnny Mack, to Edward C. Williams. One of my most favorite, and I hate to say favorites because Coach T's on the call, but I love him. But the person that has had the greatest impact has been Dr. Reuben West. And I mean, I have to tip my hat to him because even as a trainer, I was all right for about 20 years. But the 2 years that I've spent working under his tutelage, man, even in the classroom, my numbers are way up. When I'm given the opportunity to go out and speak, my numbers are up. I'm getting more opportunities to speak. So having that coach, not only from a perspective of pouring into you, it's not about weakness. What I began to realize was I had to also refer to something that I encountered early on in my journey of recovery from crack addiction, was this premise that I just found absolutely insane. Being from the west side of Detroit, being a former Marine, these words just really did not sit well to me. But for the note takers that are out there, I want you to put this in play. And it is not a sign of weakness. You got to surrender to win. That's right. I got to do that again. Surrender to win. And a lot of us might be thinking, well, are you kidding me? Really? Surrender to win? I know. It was totally foreign to me. But once I was able to bring myself to actually do it, my. When I got out of the way, allowed the teachable moments to continue to take place, the levels start rising. And I'm just really ecstatic and so grateful to have had coaches that came into my path and that are still in my circle today. So I'm going to encourage you and piggyback on what Coach T is saying. Coaches are there not necessarily because they have all the answers, but they're there to pull the best out of you, because it's hard to see the picture when you're in the frame. Coach T, I'm going to give it back to you, man. I'm sorry. I'm going to give it back.
Hey, not a problem. You know what? You were speaking great volume. And the one thing that we want you guys to understand as far as the Minivision Power Life Atlanta Business Conference that's coming up on April 30th is that what we are going to be sharing with you is exactly what we've already experienced as the Minivision. See, as I said to you in the broadcast, there are five coaches in this group. not just speakers, not just authors. We are coaches. We are mentors to each other. We are confidants and counselors to each other. And those are all variations of the word coaching. It's not actually the full definition, but it's like synonyms to what we do as coaches. And as a result of our relationship together over the past year, we've all had opportunities to coach each other in different areas of our lives where we may be lacking or where we may be minimal, or as Johnny Mack likes to say, as I bring him in to share for a brief moment about his experience with coaching, we want to go from good to great. Dr. Womack said that he was okay speaker and trainer, but when he got with Coach Ruben West, his numbers went up. His feedback got better. You know, when I got with my author coach, Johnny the Magnificent Mac, I went from just having some blank pages in a journal to having a full-fledged book that became an Amazon bestseller. And it's only because I surrendered and I allowed somebody else to help me. I didn't feel like I needed to pull my own bootstraps up anymore. Hell, I couldn't even find my bootstraps. So I needed somebody to help me get to some place that I had never been before. And that's what coaches are all about. So as we bring in Johnny Mack, mic check, mic check. Tell us what your experience has been with coaching. All right, so we're not hearing you, Johnny Mack, so we're going to give him a second to reboot, and hopefully we can get him back in. But we're just going to keep this party moving because we know technology sometimes doesn't want to work for us, and sometimes we need a coach to help us with the technology as well. So as we go back into the presentation, we left off with talking about implementation and how most successful people, sometimes they don't, even though they're successful, even though, like Dr. Womack said, they're good, they want to be great. And it's those plateaus and it's those blind spots that they need help with. And as an entrepreneur, if you're experiencing some blind spots in your business, if you're experiencing some plateaus where you have been at $100,000 a year, but you've been trying to get to 150,000, and no matter what you do, you can't get there, then we suggest to you tonight that maybe you need a coach. Maybe you need to get with that somebody that's going to help you get off of that plateau and move you up the ladder to a higher side of the mountain. With every level of success, there's another level of success just beyond the horizon that requires thought, decisions, and actions that a coach can help you accelerate or think through. See, on that plateau, you've thought about everything. You've done all the actions. You've made all the decisions to get you to that plateau. But maybe that's where your thought process ends. Maybe that's where your level of expertise has halted. In order to go to the bigger side or the higher side of the mountain, now you're going to have to stretch yourself a little bit further to climb to that next plateau. And that's where having a coach in your pocket or a coach by your side is going to pay dividends for you. Because you've had the $100,000 coach, but maybe your $100,000 coach can't get you to $200,000. So you need to find that $200,000 coach. Help me, somebody that can get you there. Somebody who's already tasted what it's like to make $200,000. Someone who's already made the mistakes to get past the $100,000 mark up until the $200,000 mark. And that's just an analogy. We could use that same analogy for someone who's written that first book but can't get that second book out, or for that person who's done 10 speaking engagements in front of 100 people but now is ready to speak in front of 1,000 people or 10,000 people, or maybe that person who has done small events, bookstore events, library events, but now wants to get on the big stage. Every one of us needs to have those different types of coaches that have been at those levels that we can talk to, that we can bounce ideas off of, and that can give us the strategies that we need to get to that next level. A good coach can recognize and help you address those things that you need to get next level. But a great coach will show you how to collaborate with others when you need that help so that you can concentrate on what you do best as an entrepreneur. You know, as we prepare for this conference, we have divvied up the responsibilities amongst the group that is what they do best. You know, I may be good at running these kind of broadcasts, but I'm no good at setting up a live event. So I stayed out of that lane and let the professionals in this group that knows how to do that handle that. Some of us may have written a book, but we're not as eloquent, and we don't have the power of words like Johnny Mac does. So we've moved out of that lane and let Johnny take the lead in that lane. And we focused on what we do best. A coach can show you how you can focus on the things that you do best, and then show you how to collaborate with other people to create that circle of influence, to create that team. Teamwork makes the dream work. And when you have a team that can do some of the things that you can't do well, or do some of the things that you shouldn't be doing at all, you have more time to focus on the things you do best as an entrepreneur. And that's going to stop you from getting stuck. You're going to stop majoring in the minor stuff and start mastering the things that you do best, knowing that you have a team around you that will handle the rest of the details and let you shine in what it is that you're doing. That's what a great coach will help you figure out. And then finally, we want you to understand that a coach helps you be accountable to achieving those goals. As an accountability coach, when I work with my clients, I don't just talk to them about their goals. I don't just talk to them about their dreams and desires. I ask them a very pertinent question each and every time for each and every goal. And it's just a one-word question. And that question is, when? Because you can talk about goals until you're blue in the face. You can map out strategies until the cows come home. But if you never put it into action, if you never decide when you're going to do that goal, when you're going to work on that goal, and when you're going to achieve that goal, then it's nothing but still a dream. And we are about creating entrepreneurs. We are about creating successful entrepreneurs. We are about collaborating with men and women who want to go to the next level of their greatness. And you can't go to the next level of your greatness if you're not accountable for making yourself great. Many times as entrepreneurs, we don't tell anybody about our goals, because when we get up and we look in the mirror and we talk about the goals that we said we were going to do next week, but now it's this week and it hasn't been done, nobody else knows. But as soon as you let your coach know, as soon as you let your mentor know, as soon as you let that person know who's at the level that you're trying to be, that you haven't done the things that you said you're going to do, oh, in the words of Dr. Ed Womack, that BS meter just starts clicking and starts running real high. And it's you on some BS. That coach is not only there to be your cheerleader, but that coach is there to kick you in your assets when you need it so that you can move to the place that you want to be. And sometimes we don't need the strategy. Sometimes we don't need the PowerPoint presentation. Sometimes we don't need the map on the wall. Sometimes we just need to do it, to be accountable to what it is we said we were going to do when we say we're going to do it, so that we don't continue to be stuck where we are today this time next year. Some of the people that I coach say they hired a coach because they want and need accountability. They want to be pushed. And that's hard to do without having someone there to hold you accountable. And see, Dr. Womack didn't see my PowerPoint before we got started, so he didn't know I'm also a basketball fan and the greatest basketball player that ever lived, in my opinion. Michael Jordan said, some people want it to happen, some people wish it would happen, and others make it happen. And Michael knew the value of a team. Michael knew the value of having a coach. Athletes have relied on coaches for years to improve their game. And if multi-million-dollar athletes rely on coaches, then my question is, why shouldn't you as the entrepreneur? Absolutely no reason why. When you become accountable to achieving the goals that you've set out with your coach, then you're going to stop wishing you had what others do. You're no longer going to be stuck on working on someone else's dream, and you're going to start living the life that's on the next level of your greatness. Hire a coach, hire an accountability partner, and start achieving those goals that you want to achieve. We are going to see, before we go to the next slide, we're going to see if Johnny Mack has been able to get back connected with us. Johnny Mack, are you able to hear us? Mic check, mic check.
I can hear you. You probably can't hear me.
We can hear you, but we're not seeing you right now.
Oh, my goodness. Well, I probably need a technology coach. That's
yes,
this whole
indeed.
thing with coaching.
Yeah, so Johnny Mack is having some technology challenges.
This. I promise you.
Go ahead.
You are
Keep talking if you can.
You are 100% on tonight. What you're saying is on, and I'm going to give it back to you.
Okay, so we heard Johnny Mack, and like he said, what we are talking about is on point. And now is the time as an entrepreneur to stop thinking that you have to do all these things by yourself. There are coaches ready and willing on this broadcast right now to work with you from accountability standpoint. They're willing to work with you if you are trying to get that book out of your head and onto paper and make it an Amazon bestseller. There are coaches on here that if you are looking to bring your cause to the forefront and you're looking to be a leader in your community, there are coaches on this broadcast right now that are ready to work with you. But I just got to ask you this question, and it's a simple question. Are you coachable? That's a very important question, because if you aren't willing to be coached, then you're saying that you want to do it all by yourself and you want to continue to do what it is that you've been doing all along. And we don't want that for you.
Hold up, Coach T. Coach T,
Yes.
hold up. You need to mute something. Somebody has got a little bit of background noise, and I know you're about to drop some serious nuggets, so we don't want that to be disrupted. So if you could hit that control, there we go. I think it's gone now. But, you know, I have to concur with Johnny. You are on fire tonight, and I know that somebody out there in our listening audience is picking up what you're putting down, brother. Go ahead and rock and roll. I think you got rid of the background noise.
Right. All right. We don't want them to just pick it up and put it down. We want them to pick it up and run with it. And that's what people do who are coachable. They take the nuggets that are available and they run with it. So if you are ready to get with a coach who's going to take you to some new heights, then we definitely want to see you on April 30th at the Power Life Atlanta Business Empowerment Webinar Conference in Atlanta, Georgia. And as you see on the screen, it's going to be it's going to be a fun-filled, it's going to be an empowering day. And the only thing that you have to do is go to the registration. You can go to www.bit.ly MOVPowerlife registration right now and register to get more nuggets about how you can how a coach can help you as an entrepreneur. There's far more things that I could talk about, but due to the limited amount of time and due to the fact that we want you to be in the place to not only hear this information, to not only see this information, but to experience this information. We want to engage all your senses in the possibilities of what your life as an entrepreneur can be if you just reach out and get some coaching in your life. But you've got to register right now. So go to www.bit.ly powerlife registration. And I just want to let you know what you're going to get by being there. You get to spend the day with some phenomenal speakers, including our featured speaker, Dr. Ruben West, who is my coach, as well as Dr. Ed Womack's coach, proud participants in the Black Belt Speakers, who are doing big things all over the country and soon all over the world with the way we are spreading our wings and definitely getting out there making a difference in the world. But not only is Dr. Ruben West there, we have the renowned speaker himself, George Fraser, of the Power Networking Conference, which happens to be the #1 networking conference in the country. It's going to be happening again this May in the DC area. So you definitely are going to be blessed to get him before he even makes it to the Power Networking Conference in DC. He's going to be at the Power Life Conference in Atlanta. If that's not enough, you're going to be empowered by our fabulous panel of female thought leaders, which include Aisha Ferguson, Amanda Cooper, Aaliyah Butler, Yvette Peegs, and Angelic, I'm going to say it right, Dr. Angelic Muhammad. They are also going to bless us because this just isn't a men's conference. This is an everybody conference, and everybody needs to be empowered. Everybody needs to change their mindset so that they can move to the next level. Everybody needs to understand what it means to properly brand and market their business. And every coach, every entrepreneur needs a coach if they want to be better. And what else? You get unprecedented access to the Men of Vision. What more could you possibly ask for than that? So we want to let you know that general admission will soon be sold out. I am declaring it on this call because I know there's somebody who's watching this broadcast right now that is picking up that laptop and typing in that registration link, and you are getting your general admission seat. I declare and decree that this is going to be sold out tonight. So you definitely want to get in there. But if you want to upgrade to even a bigger experience than just general admission, because we don't believe in just general stuff. General stuff is for average people. I believe, the Men of Vision believe, that you are extraordinary. We believe that you are VIP caliber. So we have a special package for the first 10 people who act right now during the course of this call. You know, the universe rewards those who take what? Massive action. And so for those first 10 people that go to the registration right now, we are going to upgrade you to early VIP status for just $75. Yes, just $75, and you get VIP, where you get up close and personal with the speakers. You get up close and personal with the coaches. You get to talk one-on-one with them, and you get to be a part of this great experience at the Power Life Atlanta Business Empowerment Conference on April 30th. But you've got to go now to bit.ly/MOV Power Life registration. That's bit.ly/MOV Power Life registration right now so that you can get your tickets. And so, in closing, I just want to say to you, thank you for allowing me to share a little bit of time with you tonight, talking to you about what I love, what I'm passionate about, and what I think I do pretty darn well, and that's coaching. Coaching is a wonderful industry. We change lives each and every day, not by anything that we do physically, but why what we do in partnership, in collaboration with you. We journey with you on your journey to live in the next level of your greatness in whatever it is. And it's a pleasure, it's an honor, and I'm humbled every time I get with a new client and see where they are on day one, but then am allowed to see where they are further down the road when they are at that point that they want it to be. If you are afraid to get started as an up and coming entrepreneur because you don't have all the right tools and strategies, get a coach. If you are stuck where you are right now because the strategies that worked for you to get to this level aren't working for you to get to this level, get a coach. If you are thinking about stopping being an entrepreneur because nothing you've done has worked right and you don't know what else to do, then by all means, get a coach. It's going to change your life. It's going to change the way you think. It's going to help you create your visions, implement your visions, and definitely hold you accountable, making those visions a reality. I'm Terrence, the Unstoppable Coach Leffridge with Unstoppable Coaching Services. And as I like to always say in parting, I want you to dream big, aim high, and believe in the impossible. And never, ever forget that you can be unstoppable. Dr. Womack, are you back? All right, I believe we lost Dr. Womack. Again, go to the Power Life conference page at bit.ly/MOVPowerlife registration to get those tickets and upgrade to the VIP package for just $75. And as we go ahead and sign off for right now, we want you to come back next week. We're going to have another part of the Power Life Business Conference webinar series, something else to give you just a sneak peek into the information you're going to receive at our all-day conference on April 30th. And as I always like to say on my own show, I don't want you to just have a great week. I want you to have an unstoppable week. And here's to living your life on the next level.